Hey, ambitious dentist, welcome to Start Your Dental Practice, the show for existing and aspiring dentists to take your dental practice to the highest possible level. I'm your host, Jonathan Van Horn, CPA and ABV, founder of dentistmetrics.com. In every episode, we aim to demystify the how to start a dental practice problem by bringing on world-class dentists, influencers, and consultants in the dental industry to pick their brain about how to get past the barriers involved from going from no practice to being a practice owner to owning your own successful dental practice. Today's guest will help you improve your marketing strategy by addressing two specific areas: copywriting and sales funnels. Now, people get bombarded with ads every day, so how will your practice actually stand out? The word choice in your advertising and your lead conversion strategy will have a huge impact on the results that you get. That's why I'm excited to have today's guest on the show. Jeremy Reeves is the CEO of Kaizen Marketing Inc. He's also the host of the Sales Funnel Mastery podcast, where he shares what's working and what's not when it comes to creating automated sales funnels. So Jeremy's insight and strategies have helped numerous businesses increase their bottom line revenue. So some of his past clients have included Mark Hansen, which is the co-author of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, Dan Merrill, a real estate investor and cast member on A&E's hit show Flipped His House, and Laurel Langmeyer, author of The Millionaire Maker. So first, here are a few things you're going to hear about today. The two most common mistakes that dentists make with their direct mail marketing, a simple exercise to help you write sales copy that works, how to narrow down your target market so that you market to the people who are most likely to buy and where to find them, how to decide the delivery method for your marketing, the one question to find out if the person or company in charge of your marketing is doing a good job or not, and if they can't answer this, get rid of them immediately, why it's a good idea to understand marketing even if you're paying someone else to do it for you, what separates good copy from bad copy, and at the end of the episode, you'll find out where you can get a bonus to help you build your own sales funnel. So be sure to listen all the way through this entire interview to get access to that. Now here's my interview with Jeremy Reeves. Hello, ambitious dentist. Today I have with us something a little bit different than what you're typically used to in this podcast. We typically have people that are just dental specific that come in and they've got just a ton of experience in only the dental industry, and that's all they do. So today I had someone reach out to us who's very, very accomplished in a form of marketing that everyone has seen in the past, but they may not know that type of marketing is actually going on in their head whenever they're consuming it. And so today I'm talking with Jeremy Reeves of Kaizen Marketing. Jeremy is also the host of the Sales Funnel Mastery podcast. Sorry that I just stumbled through that. And he has had some experience with some of the largest online marketing companies. He's had some experience with some people that you may know. For example, some of the people that he'd worked with were Robert Allen, Mark Hansen, one of the co-authors of Chicken Soup for the Soul, Laurel Langmeyer, The Millionaire Maker, the TV show host Dan Merrill from, I think it's something like it's one of those flip shows. My wife loves that show. That's the reason I saw that name. I was like, Dan Merrill, I actually know who that guy is. We followed him before. He's on what's the channel that his TV show's on?
I don't know. Yeah, I'm off. I haven't watched TV yet.
Yeah. So he has just a ton of experience. He actually has experience growing revenue by up to over $50 million of adding revenue to his clients' top line revenue to help them grow their companies. Mm-hmm. And Jeremy's been on a lot of different podcasts, and we got lucky enough to be able to be connected. And he agreed to come on the show today to kind of just talk to my audience about really what this whole kind of mystery world is. And today's topic is going to be about copywriting and sales funnels, which, again, some of us may have heard those words in the past, but in dentistry, we don't really think about kind of the science behind what causes someone to be passively sitting in at their home at the end of the day and then thinking, I need to call Dr. Smith about getting Invisalign. Like what propels them towards actually calling your office, booking an appointment, coming in, having the service done, and then paying you the money that you deserve. So, Jeremy, thank you so much for coming on today.
Sure. Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
So is there anything in the intro that I didn't cover that you have to talk about?
I mean, I think you covered it pretty well. Yeah. Essentially what I do is sell stuff. That's when people say, oh, what do you do for a living? I always say, oh, I sell stuff. It's the easiest way to describe, yeah, I mean, a copywriter, if you think of like sales copy, it's essentially like if you think of just a salesman, except instead of doing it face to face, I'm doing it, online or, through the various pages, your website or whatever. Or through emails or things like that. Sometimes through even like phone scripts I put together for clients, things like that. That's essentially what we do, and we focus on automating it. You know what I mean? At least like 95%. Every once in a while, there's something that's not automated, but it's mostly. I would say at least 95% of what we do is something that's automated. So you set it up once and it just goes. You don't have to worry about it. It's just there. It works. You can set up tracking so you know that it's working. I was just talking about this actually with somebody the other day. She was she wasn't a dentist, but she owned she trained dogs, right? Mm-hmm. So she's a dog trainer, you take it to her, she trains them, all that thing. So she actually, she came to me because she's like, oh, I don't really know like what's going on. I'm spending all this money on Facebook and on AdWords and all that. And she's like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I know I'm spending the money, but I don't know how much is actually coming back to me. I don't know which one's working. I don't know what ads are working. And so, so I told her, I'm like, well, look, we ran through all of her stats. We ran through everything. I kind of like split it up for her, and she was actually making a 9 times ROI on her marketing, but she had no idea, where it was coming from. She had no, so she was actually doing really well. So essentially she was making, she spent $1,000, she was making 9, which is, really well. So we're basically just setting up, tracking all that and automating her funnel. And so that she knows, okay, I'm going to spend whatever, $1,000, $10,000, whatever it is, on her marketing that month. And she knows that she's going to make that times 9. You know what I mean? So it's pretty awesome when you get it all set up. And yeah, I've done that. I've done it in all kinds of different industries. So I think I can kind of bring a lot of things from other industries into the dental marketing world, if you will. Yeah, it should be interesting.
Yeah, absolutely. So how did you get started in this world? Because I've always found this world a very fascinating one, the world of marketing.
So it was in 2008, and I still remember it like very clearly. I went to get the mail, brought it in, stood at my kitchen counter like most people do when they're opening their mail. And there was a headline on a letter, and it said, "Can you write a simple letter like this one?" And I looked, and I've always liked writing, and I looked. I said, "Sure, I can do that." Not knowing, apparently I actually had a very, very natural talent for it, which I didn't realize until after I became a copywriter. But it was essentially just a direct mail piece, probably like a lot of you guys are sending out for your various services. And I read it, and it was about copywriting. It was about writing sales copy, and I took the course, and it was, and then I've taken like 85,000 other things to improve my writing since then. Yeah, since then we've added $50 million plus. I gotta probably retally that. It actually might be more by now. I do it like every year or so, and then kind of like update all my marketing. We actually just did one for, I'm not allowed to actually say the name just for confidentiality reasons, but put it this way, it's a $300 million company, and you probably have their appliances in your house. I'll put it that way. And it's doing awesome. But yeah, so that's basically how I got started. And originally I was just a copywriter, just writing copy for anybody that came along. And then, as my business grew and I started getting clients in my first like 2 years or so that were like, Jeremy, you're charging for the copy, the actual words, but you're like a really good strategist, a really good marketing strategist, and you really understand marketing more than most people do. And, why aren't you charging for this? And, and it kind of hit me like my clients were telling me to start charging more. You know what I mean? So when that happens, it's a pretty good indicator that you should, and you should kind of reanalyze what you're doing. So I did. And so I started specializing in building these marketing funnels, and that's where we are now.
So explain to me, so we are, dentistry is obviously a service-based industry. It's a very, somewhat, you could say, intimate relationship with the doctor and the patient, because you've got to go inside of their mouth, which is something that, people will not allow many people to do. What, and I'm sure you have received marketing material from dentists in your area before.
Yeah, I just did yesterday.
Yeah, exactly. So what mistakes do you see that a lot of dentists make whenever they're looking at marketing, or whenever they're typically it's not the dentist that's doing the marketing. Typically it's another company that is selling something to the dentist to do for them. Yeah. What are some common mistakes that you see that the dentists make?
You know what? There's a lot of them. I don't think I've ever in my entire life gotten a piece from a dentist, and no offense, that was actually good. The couple big ones. Number one is not sending it to a targeted market. Like if you're just blanketing your entire area, how do you know that they want a new dentist? How do they know they need a new dentist? I mean, you should have some kind of criteria, whether it's like if you're selling Invisalign, right? Well, if you're just blanketing that to everybody, probably 95+% of people don't even need it. They would never, even if you had the best offer, you said, I'm going to give it to you for $1, whatever, like $1, they don't need it or don't want it, so it's like you have to first really target down who you're actually sending it to. You know what I mean? So you can figure out like who's not your client, for example. That's an easy place to start. Send it to everybody who's not a client, or you could send pieces to people who used to be clients and haven't come back in a certain amount of time, like 3 or 6 months or whatever it is. Whatever your normal time frame, just say it's every, it's usually like biannual. Then anybody who missed their last appointment, you send them and say, hey, we want you back, and send an offer to them specifically. So be really, really targeted with who you're sending it to. Another one is don't be the same as everybody else. Every dentist that I get everything from, it's all the same thing. Oh, come in for a free consultation, or come in for a free, this or whatever. There's no, they don't talk about why they're different. They don't talk about the experience. They don't talk about the benefits that the customer is going to receive. There's like no persuasion in it whatsoever. It's just, come in, and get this thing, but not talking about why. Why do they need it? How's it going to change their life? How are they going to, they're going to have a better smile, and then they're going to feel more confident about themselves. They're going to, be able, and they're going to be more attractive for their husband or their wife, or if they're single, they're going to be able to, go out and get, more dates or whatever, whatever. I don't know, like the specific ones, but just kind of a couple of them off the top of my head. So talk about, the benefits, why are people coming to you? How are you changing their life? I used to work with a lady who had really, really bad teeth. She's a like disgusting chain smoker, just really bad teeth. And she got, I forget what it was, veneers maybe, basically just totally like replaced. Mm-hmm. And I mean, the difference in her, not only in how she looked way better, but you can actually tell that it changed her personality, which comes from the confidence. I have a website that shows guys how to dress better. And that's one of the things we talk about is like, when you're dressed nice, you feel more confident. You know what I mean? It's actually funny because I put this on like 2 minutes before this interview, and I'm wearing mesh shorts on the bottom here. I don't know if you can see it.
I did let Jeremy know that pants are optional in this interview. So.
But I dress nicer when I actually go out and see people. Mm-hmm. So that's another one. Having an actual offer. A lot of people forget about that. It's like, okay, people aren't just going to come in just to come in. I mean, it's not going to. People are busy. They're looking at your thing. They're picking it up like this and flipping through it and throwing it right in the garbage. So what can you do in that 2 seconds that you have their attention to get them to say, oh, I should read this more? You know what I mean? What kind of offer can you give, or what kind of benefit can you talk to them about that's going to really grab their attention? Think of your marketing almost as a banner when you're driving down the highway. You only see it for like 3 seconds. That's about the time, the attention that you have, even with people with direct mail, right? So don't think that they're going to sit there and read the whole thing unless you have something that grabs their attention, and then they, read the whole thing. So, I mean, those are just a couple. We can go through like 1,000 more, but those are some of the bigger ones that, that I see.
Yeah, those are really good ones. One thing that I use as an example is that I personally am always surprised that I'm in my early 30s, and I have a little bit of movement in my teeth. I had braces when I was younger. I didn't use a retainer, and so, like, for example, like you said, Invisalign, like, I think I'd be a really good candidate for it.
Mhm.
But I've never seen any marketing targeted towards me
Yeah.
that could say, like, hey, this is what Invisalign is. This is how long it takes. This is what you should expect, or as well as the benefits of it. Because I'm pretty unabashedly unashamed of most things in my life. But on occasion, I'll be a little bit self-aware of my smile because of that.
Yeah.
So so that's the example I like to give to all the docs out there is, like, do something for young business executives to have better smiles, because that's super important for a lot of people, and they don't have a lot of time to be able to have those things fixed.
Yeah. So think about, like, to that point, think about exactly who you're targeting. So if it's young business professionals, all right. So now why do they want to get it, right? So talk to them about that. What are the objections that they're going to have to getting that? Well, I don't have time, or it's going to be too expensive, or whatever. So you say, hey, it doesn't take a lot of time. All we have to do is whatever the process is. I don't know, an initial consultation. We'll have you in and out in 20 minutes or whatever. And then the actual procedure takes 45 minutes or whatever it is. We can schedule it when you're outside of work, or whatever your kind of process is for overcoming that. And you should have some kind of thing that overcomes that. Tell them about it. and then you have to have something that, people are busy. Even if, like, for you, for example, you probably want it. If somebody gave you a good reason, you would go and get it. But, you've probably never gotten something, either the price or the time, or they didn't fully explain, why you need it. I don't know, maybe it, if you don't get it taken care of, it causes bigger problems later. I don't know, like, the specifics of it, but, so tell people about all that stuff. I always, when I'm writing, sales copy, I always, we have like a spreadsheet, and we'll actually list out all the benefits and transformations that whatever the solution is going to give the person, and then all of the objections and reasons that they wouldn't buy on the other side. And then in the letter that we write, you address all of them. You know what I mean? So you're giving them all the reasons they should buy and overcoming all the reasons that they shouldn't buy. And sometimes when you come with the objections, it's like, let's just say that Invisalign is really expensive and whatever. Or let's just say it's, I don't know, whatever. It's like 10 grand. So that's a lot of money to most people, right? So then you say, okay, that's going to be a huge objection. What can we do as a company to overcome that? Can you give them, payment terms? Can you reduce the price? I don't know. I try not to do that, because it just, when you look at your, and this, as a CPA, it, like, when you basically reducing your price is like one of the worst possible things you can do in your business, because, if your gross margin or your gross is like, 30% or whatever it is, and you drop your price by half, you're probably losing money, or you're making like no actual net profit. I try to stay away from that. But, think about, can you give bonuses? Can you, maybe you do checkups to make sure, like, adjust it. I don't know what, whatever it is. Just think of ways and get creative. Think of ways that you can offer something that your competitors aren't offering. And that's a big point too, is, look at all your competitors, know what they're doing and what they're offering, and then do something different from them. I always like to tell people, and this is what I think, like, this is one of the most important things that I tell people, I think. So let's just say Invisalign. So imagine everybody listening to this, or watching this or whatever, you're selling Invisalign, right? So you sell it, and that's one of your services, and then probably all of your competitors are as well, or most of them at least. So just imagine two of your biggest competitors. There's you standing here, you have two of your competitors on the side, and you're in front of them looking at these three people, right? And you're coming to them and you're saying, hey guys, I'm going to get Invisalign next month. I'm going to get it from one of you three, and I want you to tell me why I should get it from you. And then, they're also going to give their response. So what is it about your business that's going to differentiate yourself from these two? And if you don't have that answer, you should think about how to have that answer. You should think about what you can do so that you differentiate yourself. You make yourself unique so that when people, because a lot of people are going to do that, they're going to say, okay, I want this. First they have to come to the conclusion that, okay, I want Invisalign. That's kind of step number one. And then step number two is, okay, who do I go with? So say there's you and two other people, they're going to look at all three of you and say, okay, the price is this, the price is this, the price is this, the time frame's this, time frame's this, and you want them to compare you. I do this with comparison charts a lot, where you just get a spreadsheet and it's competitor 1, 2, 3, and then, all the kind of reasons they should buy, the features, or whatever, the benefits, and you should have more, so that when people are comparing, they say, oh, well, this guy, he's the definite choice because, it's cheaper, it's faster, whatever the case is. So, think about that and then make sure it's in all of your marketing.
So you did a really good job of explaining how to craft a message. How do you craft who you're going to be selling to? Do you have any tips about how to figure out who that person is that you're trying to reach?
Yeah, a lot of that comes from trial and error. You know what I mean? I would say the best thing, and I do a thing called funnel days with my clients, where I actually spend a day, like a consultation day with them. And this is one of the things that we do a lot is because a lot of business success is just specializing in something. You know what I mean? So any of my clients that aren't doing that and they're kind of generalists, they want to specialize, I always kind of start with that and say, okay, let's look back at all of your previous clients that you've given this service to. Which ones did you like serving the most? Which ones were the easiest? Which ones gave you the least objections to price or whatever? Which ones were sold, the easiest? There's some people I know, like with me in my business, when I get on the phone with people, my average close rate is like 40%. There are some people in certain businesses that it's like 80 plus, because they're just, I have all the results for that audience. I have, I know all the lingo, all that kind of stuff. So that's, primarily who I go after because it's easier, you know what I mean? And then I'm also able to create systems and processes and things, so that not only am I getting better results more often for that, that audience, but we're actually the work is actually easier because we've done it so many other times. We can then create systems and processes. So think of that, like, the young professionals, who is, I'm drawing a blank, trying to describe it, but like, who's going to get the most benefit? Who's the easiest win for you? You know what I mean? So maybe, with something like that, like kind of like the whole thing, like, I mean, who is going to have teeth like that? Meth heads would be one.
Yeah, no, absolutely. That's actually a big market for some places.
Yeah, like, I don't really know. Maybe. All right. So let's just go with meth heads just because it'd be fun. Right. So, or I don't know any other, I'm not really, never really taken drugs. I don't really know what they do to you, but I know meth kind of messes up your teeth. So let's go with that. So, all right, we're talking to meth heads now. Bet you guys never saw the conversation go this way.
It'll be interesting though. So
yeah.
I'll play the role of the meth head.
Yeah. All right. So here's how you sell the meth heads. That'll be the title of the podcast. Jeremy Reeves, on how to sell the meth head.
Yes.
So
revealed. Meth heads hate him.
Yeah. So there's probably some kind of clinic, right, that what helps them get over their meth addiction, I would imagine. So you go and do joint ventures with them, and it's like part of their rehab. You know what I mean? And you talk to the owner of that company and say they have, I don't know, a couple hundred maybe. I don't know how many people they would have in their program, but you say, hey, look, your people are trying to transform their lives. Well, I can transform their teeth, and they're going to have all messed up teeth. It's going to remind them every single day of their old habit and how it screwed up their life so bad. We're going to change their entire, transform their entire life, by changing their, fixing their teeth. So, and you can go on and on and on, but you see like how simple it is. Just, okay, who's going to have that problem the worst, or who's the easiest to sell to, or, whatever the case is. And then it's okay, well, how do we market to them? Well, what are the problems they're having? Where is their attention? That's what I do with my business. That's kind of the filter that I use for my own marketing is, okay, where are, my clients are entrepreneurs. where are the entrepreneurs? Where's their attention? So for me, they're listening to podcasts, they're reading up, because most of my clients are constantly educating themselves. They're constantly trying to improve, because when they improve, they, get better business results. So that's kind of like one of my, traits of my clients. So I'm always thinking, all right, where's their attention? What's new in the marketplace? Where are they looking at? What blogs are they reading? What podcasts are they listening to? And then I put myself on those platforms, so like this, like I go on a lot of podcasts, and then, at the end I'll say, hey, go listen to my sales funnel, or my sales funnel, go listen to my podcast. People get on my podcast, they listen to me, there's a lot of credibility, there's demonstrating expertise, all that kind of thing. And then they call me, that's kind of like my my funnel. And you could see how you could translate that, to you guys. It's all right, who's got the problem? And then how do we get in front of them? So the methods, they have the problem because it messes up their teeth. How do you get in front of them? Well, they're at these, the rehab centers. So you do a joint venture with the rehab centers to, give some kind of like special, meth head, teeth fixing service or whatever. Come up with a good name for it. You can do like a whole big thing. Maybe you go to the rehab and you do them like every day for a month, and everybody's teeth are fixed. And of course, like, we're kind of being a little bit flippant about this, but I mean, honestly, that would probably work. You know what I mean? Do some sort of health fair for for people that some sort of like an anti-drug campaign. You could probably get on the news. You're doing an anti-drug campaign. Anybody who used to be on drugs, but they're now clean, but their teeth are messed up, you're going to give them a free consultation to see the best way to kind of transform their teeth. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, that would work. That's a niche for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. And there's a lot of work to be done, and whenever someone has to have all their teeth removed.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely.
I'm sure it's not inexpensive, and and health insurance would probably cover it, I imagine. I don't know, but probably would.
Yeah, so I'm sure in some aspects it would.
Yeah.
So you talked about the message, you've talked about the market, or who we're sending the message to. How do you decide how you deliver that message? So print, newspapers, mailers, social media, website, advertising. How do you handle that?
Yeah, so that's kind of a mix of what I said before with where their attention is. So that's one thing to think about. And then the other one is kind of familiarity. So with a lot of my clients, we do online stuff because that's like what we do most of the time. I've done a lot of direct mail and things like that. But for most of my clients, it's, Facebook ads, Google, and a lot of times it's cheaper. Like just the overall cost per, new customer acquisition is cheaper. Plus you can do things like, you can do it offline too, but it's easier online, is getting people onto a list that you can follow up with them, like a prospect email list. And not one of those ones where you just send pitches every day, but you actually deliver value to people. That's how they should be set up. I always tell people, like, if they're people who aren't familiar with like all this kind of crazy complex stuff, I always say, have you ever been on an email list and you got 100 emails and you hated it and you unsubscribed and you click spam? Oh yeah, I hate those things. I don't want to do that. And I always say that's exactly what you shouldn't be doing. What you should be doing is getting people on your list and continue adding value to their life. So you can give tips on taking care of your teeth. You can send cool stories that people would be interested in. You can there's a lot of different things you can do. But yeah, two of the places that I would start with is a really easy one is in your area. Go on AdWords, right? People are going to be searching for Invisalign in whatever, Little Rock, Arkansas, right? So they're going to be searching for that in AdWords. So you go and you create campaigns for people. You can do like a radius, right? So if you're, if your business is here, you do it from here, 20-mile radius, or however, you guys would know how far people drive to you. Just say it's 20 miles or 10 miles or whatever it is. So they're only going to deliver ads in that, just say 10-mile radius, right? So then anybody who's searching for information on Invisalign or whatever service, you could do it for veneers, you can do it for just a new dentist, whatever the various keywords are that people are going to search for, it's only going to go to people in that 10-mile radius. And then you send them to a page, you create a page like I would create that tells people, it basically gives them a free consultation or some type of offer to get them, into your world, so to speak. And then, you compel them that you're the best and a choice for them. It's, hey, if you're looking for this, here's why you should do it. First of all, here's why you should choose us. And, we don't want to kind of pressure you into anything. Why don't you just come in, for a free consultation? And if you decide it's for you, there's no pressure, there's no, salesy tactics, anything like that. We're just going to talk to you, sit, have a cup of coffee, and if you decide it's for you, we'll give you a discount or whatever the offer is for actually, getting the procedure. And it can be simple as that. That's your sales funnel. Just, people that are searching for your services in your area, you send them to a specific page, free consultation, and you close them, and then there's, you can do more than that. There you could do, like, once they're on your list, then you can send them emails and things like that. But, that's a very simple funnel that anybody can set up. There's no reason that you shouldn't be able to set that up, now maybe you can't write the copy. Obviously that's where someone like me comes in, but the concept is simple, so yeah.
So how would you, so for all the docs out there that already own a practice, how would you, so again, I stressed to a lot of people that you need to understand why the people you're paying money to do these things for you are doing the things the way that they do. How would you gauge if someone was listening to this podcast and saying, okay, well, I don't really know if my, if my marketing guy, whomever that may be, is doing this very well? How would you instruct people to figure that out if they were being successful or not?
Here's an easy one. Ask them if they can tell you exactly how much your ROI is from your ad spend. If they don't know that answer, get rid of them immediately. They should be able to tell you, and you can do this really, really easily online. You can do it offline too. It's just a lot, again, it's just easier online. But if they can't say, okay, you spent whatever, $10,000 last month, and we got 4 new clients that gave us, $3,000 each or whatever, you made 12,000, whatever. If they can't actually sit down and show you those numbers, they're not doing their job correctly. They're just not good at what they do. And it's not hard to set this up easy. All it is literally a little bit of code that you copy and you paste, and that's it. And then you can get more involved. Like my clients, we have spreadsheets that show overall, the amount spent, the cost per lead, how many new customers you got from those leads, like how much, so you get your close percentage, what they were worth, which gives you your, average, customer value. And then from those numbers, you can figure out the cost per, new customer acquisition. So if you're spending, $4,000 to acquire a new customer and they're worth 8,000, so, well, you're getting 2-to-1 ROI. So if they don't know those numbers for you, get rid of them immediately. That's pretty much the simplest thing. I mean, honestly, if there's one thing that you do and you say, Jeremy, you know what, you suck, I hate everything you said. If there's one thing that you take away is track what you're doing, track your marketing, because like the dog trainer, she was making a 9 times ROI, but she had no idea how. And most people aren't that lucky. She inherited the business, and the guy that sold it to her was a good marketer. Or not inherited, but she bought. But most people are not that lucky. You don't get to a 9 times ROI just like randomly. You have to be doing something right, and she was. Most of it was pretty good, and she was in a good location. She was extremely lucky in the business that she bought. But yeah, you can very, very easily set up these things so that you know exactly how much money you're making, exactly how much, where they're coming from, they're going into your list. You can track, how much they're worth to you as a client, for the first appointment or whatever, and then long term. And then that helps you come up with things like your lifetime customer value. I mean, just know your metrics, because even if, let's just put it this way, let's say that you're profitable right now, right? And you have a lot of people have marketing budgets, which is the worst possible thing in the history of the world. If you're profitable, if you're not profitable with it, yeah, I mean, first of all, you should make yourself profitable first. But if you're profitable, like if you're spending $1 and making 5, I mean, you should put as much money as you can possibly spend and just, take over your market. So if you're profitable, you shouldn't have a budget. It should essentially be as much cash as you have. Just set that up, and you're probably doing several different marketing channels. Have split that up so you can track it, so that if you're doing, let's just say you're doing Facebook, you're doing AdWords, and you're doing postcards, right? Let's just those 3 things. Well, you should have different tracking sources for each of those 3. And again, this isn't hard to set up. It's kind of hard to explain over a video how to do it. But it's, just somebody that knows what they're doing can set it up for you in like 20 minutes. So you have those 3, and maybe you're profitable overall, but you might find that your AdWords is giving you a 20 times ROI and your postcards are like a negative 20 times ROI, and that's an extreme example, obviously. So you're profitable overall, but one of them is losing you a ton of money and the other one's doing amazingly well. Same thing with AdWords, right? So in AdWords, you base what you pay on keywords, right? So people are searching for, dentist in city, or, veneer, I need new veneer, I need veneers, or, my teeth suck, or whatever the keyword is that helps them find you. You'll find, and it's typically, you'll find a 10 times difference in the various keywords, right? So I do the same thing for copywriters. It's like, sales copywriter. That's one of the terms, email copywriter, marketing funnel copywriter. And there are literally keywords in there that I make my ROI is 10 times higher from certain keywords than it is from other keywords. So, and that's not just AdWords keywords, but it's all of your marketing. You might be doing phenomenally well on AdWords, horrible on Facebook, horrible on postcards. So you get rid of the 2 that aren't working and then focus on the one that is. And then all of a sudden you're a lot more profitable. You know what I mean? But I hope that, kind of explains it. That's, it's probably the first thing, to look at. I mean, that's the first question. If they say yes, there's other things, but if they say no to that, get rid of them immediately. And most of them will say no, because almost nobody does it.
What I've found in this industry is that a lot of people go with the spray and pray method of just sending out a ton of direct mail or something like that, or just putting a ton of money into attracting as many different people as possible, because in the dental industry, admittedly, the value of a patient's very high. So they just know, okay, if I just send out, so if I send out like, 10,000 mailers just with the generic thing like, hey, free teeth whitening, that they're going to get, maybe, off of that $10,000, they might get 10 patients, which they could say the value of it is, which at least is $1,000. And so they break even. And so there's like this perpetuation among the dental industry that marketing isn't that great in the dental industry, because they don't really know how to build these funnels, if you will, which to me, we talked about it a little bit. We talked about the market, who we're marketing to specifically. We talked about the message of how we're, attracting them and getting them off of their couch and getting them to make a phone call, to come in and have things done. And we're talking about how we deliver that message. So in the media, so market, message, and media are the 3. There's probably some type of philosophy behind that, but we've talked about those 3 things. And I think in the marketing world, in the dental industry, just a lot of people go for such volume because it does good enough. And admittedly, it's not probably as hard to do as, what this is, but the results for this can be so exponentially larger than that just generic spray and pray method. Because the way, I think about it is, there's a certain dentist out there that I know of that does this phenomenal job being like the guy who does Invisalign for weddings. Like he's just the guy in this market. And the reason is because he took this method of specifically targeting and say, hey, who's came in and just loved what I've done? And it's brides because they want to have straight teeth on their wedding day, or they want to have white teeth on their wedding day, or they want to have, they want to fix their smile and they're going to have braces on their wedding, but they don't want people to be able to see them. Like they know very, very closely. And like in my head, I always imagined that his wife was someone who went through this, and he just talked to her about what she wanted out of it, and then uses that in all of his marketing. And by creating that brand, by creating that marketing message, he just became the guy. And so like he gets invited to talk in like wedding magazines. He gets invited to go to all the wedding galleries. He gets invited to go everywhere. And so this thing that started out as, like you said, like just thinking about what the persona of that person is wanting, has created this empire where he does all the normal things. He's still a dentist that can do normal dentistry things.
Yeah.
But his value per patient is so high, and his marketing spend is so effective. That he doesn't, at this point, he probably doesn't even have to spend a whole lot to be able to make that happen, because people know him as the guy, and nobody can touch him. I mean,
nobody even tries. When you're known as the guy for X, nobody even, why, especially like in a local area. I mean, online, you can kind of do that, but when you're in a local area and you have a niche just that's yours, I mean, why would they? They just find a different one. You know what I mean? I mean, there's no point. And I want to say the quote that I have on my wall. Everybody could probably see this behind me. If you're listening, I have I got two things painted in my office. The one is right behind me, and it's the logo of my company name. And then the other one, I have a quote, right? And this goes back to the, it's doing well enough thing that you were talking about before, which a lot of people, and listen, if you're doing this, it's totally fine. It's just, a matter of if you then change it once you realize that you should. But the quote is, overcome the notion to be regular. It robs you of the chance to be extraordinary, and I think it's so applicable to this because, basically overcome the notion to be average in the results that you're getting, because it robs you of the chance to get extraordinary results. You know what I mean? It's totally applicable. And, I always tell people, because I get that objection sometimes. It's like, oh, well, why would I need new sales copy? I'm already doing okay. I'm like, well, really? I mean, do you want to live your life to do okay? I mean, it's kind of the same thing. It's kind of the, I'm a huge fan of freedom in business, and not like working until your eyes bleed. And not, I always tell people, like, cause there's the whole thing of, what is it? My business is my passion, and that's why I work 18 hours a day. And my response to that is, really, you think having one passion in your life is living a good life? I mean, it makes no sense to me. So and that's like a whole other topic. But I created my business to give me an amazing, like, free life, so I could have a whole bunch of passions, and have the time and money to do them. You know what I mean? Actually, right after this, I'm going golfing. It's Friday afternoon. But anyway, that's like a whole other topic. But yeah, I mean, if you're getting okay results, I mean, why not? You can do so much better. I've seen headlines, just replacing a headline on something that got, an 8 times an increase in response. I've seen, all kinds of different things. You can look at my website. I rewrote. I had a dry cleaner client, right? He had a magazine ad in his local town, and he said, hey, it's doing okay, but I want to see if we can do better. And I rewrote it and doubled his results just from rewriting the ad. Same placement of the magazine, same everything, just different copy. That's what it does, because you're more persuasive. I'm sure people have talked to, let's just say when you're going out to buy a car, everybody's bought a car. I'm sure you've gone to some places and it's like, no, I don't really need that. You walk off the lot, buy it. Other places you go and the guy's so persuasive that you sign a check before you walk off. And that's the difference, between being a good salesman and, not.
Sure.
And writing copy, like it's not this like really pushy kind of like, 18,000 exclamation points. That's an example of bad copy, right? Good copy is emotionally engaging. That's the first thing in copy is engaging emotionally with the prospect reading, and really understanding who they are, what they're kind of frustrated with. So going back to like the Meth head thing, talking to them about how frustrating and embarrassing it is. You want to clean up your life, and that, it's so amazing that you were able to kind of pull yourself out from the depths of meth addiction. But there's this one lingering thing. Every time you look in the mirror, you're seeing your teeth, and it keeps reminding you of all those, bad experiences that you had when you were doing meth. And, it's time to change that. It's time to not only transform your health, but your look, and we can help you do that. And, do you see like how emotional that is? Like somebody reading that and they're like, oh my God, I have to do that. I have to look better for my wife and my kids, and, show people that I'm changed, and, all that. And that's just, I mean, that's totally off the top of my head. I don't even know, but that's good copy. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, don't be satisfied with what you have. You should be constant. That's why my business name is Kaizen, constant improvement. You should do that in all areas of your life, your health, your relationships, your business, everything, but yeah.
I love it. Well, you've done a really good job of kind of explaining the nuts and bolts of how you start the funnel. We didn't get into a ton of like the automation and things like that. And there are a million tools out there that would probably be a little bit too depe for
yeah, I try to keep it simple.
Yeah. So, and strategies that I know you could put out there for us, but I feel like you've done a really good job of explaining things from just a broad level and made it more specific to dentistry. So thank you so much for coming on. If anybody has any questions in regards to like what you do and how you do it and things like that, what's a good way for them to be able to become connected with you?
Yeah, so I would say two things. Like I said before, number one is if you're interested in this, you're interested in kind of doing better marketing for yourself, and even if you're going to outsource it, like even if you have which a lot of dentists don't, you want to be a dentist. That's why you went to school to be a dentist. You didn't go to marketing school. Even if you want to outsource it, you should at least have like a base understanding of how things work, so that when you hire somebody, so like the tracking example that I talked about before, if you hire somebody, you should be able to know if they're actually good at what they do. So if you want to listen to my podcast, it's Sales Funnel Mastery. So you're probably listening to this, on your phone or watching it or whatever. So just pick up your phone and search for Sales Funnel Mastery and subscribe to that. There's all kinds of good stuff. I kind of mix it up between me just talking about various things, mixed in with guests, like this. So that's number one. Number two is if you don't want to bother with any of that and you just want to, get in touch and see if I can help you personally with your business, then just go to jeremyreeves.com. That's my website, and you'll see all sorts of different things there. There's a contact me form. There's a thing explaining our services, our various services. I have products. I have free webinars. I have free PDFs. There's all kinds of different stuff. I've been doing this a long time, so there's a lot of resources and things. But just go to jeremyreeves.com and it's kind of a choose your own adventure type of thing.
Love it. Favorite books growing up. So thank you so much for coming on again, and we thank you for being a friend of the podcast. I urge all the listeners out there to reach out and thank Jeremy for his time, as well as to go and check out his stuff. So have a great day.
Sounds good. You too. Thanks.
A special thanks to Jeremy for providing some incredible insight on copywriting and sales funnels. As you heard, you have the ability to increase your ROI on your marketing dollars by making some adjustments to your current systems. As a bonus for today, you can download Jeremy's free report called Constructing a $1 Million Sales Funnel. This information in this report applies to all types of businesses, but you can take these principles and integrate it into your own marketing strategy. To get that bonus, simply text PRACTICE to 33444. Again, that's PRACTICE to 33444, or visit startyourdentalpractice.com/bonus if you're outside of the US. You'll also receive updates on the latest episodes of Start Your Dental Practice, helpful tips for owning and running a practice, and promotional opportunities direct to your inbox. So that's it for today's episode, but that doesn't mean that the learning and implementation have to stop there. I've created a free report called The 15 Numbers That Will Make or Break Your Dental Practice. This report has been downloaded over 1,000 times by dental professionals. So if you want your free copy of this report that's going to outline what the most important numbers are in any dental practice, and it also includes how to look at your numbers, how to set goals, has a whole slew of really important information that is the culmination of all of my experience as a dental CPA, then just go to startyourdentalpractice.com/free gift. That is startyourdentalpractice.com/free gift. And so that's it for today, Ambitious Dentist. Again, I'm Jonathan Van Horn, CPA and ABV. I'll see you next week with another world-class practice owner or consultant that will help you start your very own dental practice. Thank you guys so much for being a part of the Start Your Dental Practice community. If you enjoyed today's episode, please do me a favor and go to startyourdentalpractice.com/iTunes to leave your honest feedback and review on iTunes. It's going to help me create a better experience, a better show, a better podcast for you, the ambitious dentist. Your feedback really does help, regardless if you like the show today or not. If you didn't like the show, let me know, because it's going to help me create a better show and podcast for you. Lastly, if you know of anybody that would benefit from today's episode and today's content, today's guest, please feel free to share with them on social media or through email.